From the sublime to the not sublime, we saw, as well as Suspiria, a horror remake of a classic 1977 film, a remake of a 1978 film, John Carpenter's
Ooh.
Halloween, the several film in the Halloween franchise.
11th, I think.
11?
I think it's the 11th, yeah.
Oh yeah, because isn't there like 7 originals, 2 remakes, another remake or something like that, and then...
Something like that, yeah.
Anyway, it's a film version of John Carpenter's 1978 film Halloween. It's a direct sequel to that, and kind of a reimagine, it's a direct sequel to that, and it's trying to revive the horror icon of Michael Myers for a new generation. A generation jaded by the internet, social media, podcasts, things. Anyway, before that gets too rambling, Michael Myers comes back. He escapes from prison to try and kill some people. Laurie Strode from the original has to try and stop him. It's 40 years later, but he still walks around and with no problems, despite the fact he must be at least 60-some at this point. What do you think of Halloween?
Oh, God.
David Gordon Green's Halloween.
I mean, I suppose just probably start out by saying that I think Halloween is, out of all the 80s slasher movie franchises, I think Halloween is the most vandalized.
Okay.
Like, I think out of all of them, it's probably the worst series. You know,
probably fair, considering only one of them anyone likes.
Yeah, I mean, going from the original, which is a masterpiece.
A towering masterpiece.
Yep. To the second one, which is passable as a unimaginative sequel to the original. To the third one, which is... Have you seen Season of the Witch?
I've never seen anything other than the first one. When my gaze falls upon the cinematic landscape, it only goes towards classics, Bresson film. So sometimes when my monocle falls, I'll out the corner of my eye spy a film that. Anyway, yeah, basically I've only seen the first Halloween.
As John Waters is famous for saying, to have good taste, you've got to have bad taste.
Agreed.
Yeah. So it's
more of a problem of there's not enough time to watch
exactly.
them all.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch a film, you'd rather watch a good film.
I'd rather watch something like Society, which is like a horror film that would be at least I'd get some out of it. It's a great film. Yeah.
Halloween 3 is good.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Halloween 3 is good, which is going to be my point for. It's the only Halloween sequel. No, I saw the second one a very, very long time ago. I've not watched any of the others after that, except for the third one.
Not even the one with what's he called? Is it LL Cool J? Or...
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, no,
Busta Rhymes. It is not LL Cool J.
So it's
Busta Rhymes. He kills Michael Myers in that one.
Yeah, but no, yeah, you're right, because with all the amazing films out there, you're not going to spend your time watching forgotten sequels to Halloween. But yeah, so then there's the third one, which is, the third one's an interesting film.
Mm-hmm.
I
Michael Myers.
No Michael Myers. It's a completely separate story. I'd recommend watching it, actually. It is quite interesting and kind of weird. Then after that, it sinks into all my ass. But basically, if you want to know what happens in them, just watch YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Where someone reviews them. Because then they do shit where Michael Myers is a supernatural being and there's sacrifices involved, and Michael Myers now has a cousin who's going to become the new Michael Myers, and there's this organisation called the Fawn Organisation, and it goes to weird places.
Okay.
And then they did what, H2O?
Yeah, that's the one with Busta Rhymes, I think.
Yeah,
where Jamie Lee Curtis is
the
back.
first time Jamie Lee Curtis comes back to the series, and they ignore the continuity of previous films.
Yeah.
And then they do another one. Then Rob Zombie tried, and finally we kind of get to this one, this 2018 one. And you know what? For what it's worth, I actually thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah, it's better than any. Considering the situation I just outlined, it's better than it probably should be. Yet another sequel to Halloween, which yet again ignores the events of previous films and yet again brings Jamie Lee Curtis back. So no, for what it's worth, I actually think this remake, it's the sequel that if you were going to do a sequel to Halloween, it's kind of a sequel that I always wanted. Because it does do some interesting things with Laurie Strode, I think. There's some cool set pieces, some unfortunate humour, which we'll get to.
Say what?
Say, what do you like to have on your sandwich? I like to have peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly? What are you, a child? And that's a scene in your spooky horror film.
Yep. Yeah, I pretty much echo that. It's a pretty decent film. I mean, it's sort of like the horror landscape's pretty degraded now between like as we talk about constantly in our like podcast Sunday Cinematic Service when we do a horror film, we always end up going about how bad horror films are now. Like when we did The Nun, like that was bad. Like this isn't Nun, it's not Paranormal Activity, it's like a real film made by a guy.
It's a real film, yeah.
He understands film grammar clearly, like David Gordon Green, famously director of stuff like George Washington, the independent drama that everyone loves, and Pineapple Express, and he's like a bit of a journeyman. I think he's like he's like top quality journeyman. I think like
like he clearly knows what he's doing, and I think with this one, I think they definitely did the wise thing of taking into account the 40 years that have passed and kind of take it to the extreme. Now all of a sudden, Laurie Strode is just as crazy as Michael Myers.
Just imagining that like Michael Myers would be like when he's like Facebook grandpas posting like Trump memes or something. That would be the real horror. But yeah, like it's clever though. So basically, Laurie Strode is like been so traumatized from what happened in the first one that she has like holed up in a sort of cell-like bunker. Like her house is essentially like a prison. And
she's had like a daughter in the in-between times, and now she also has a granddaughter as well. And basically, we learned that she kind of became obsessed with. She became like a bit of one of them like apocalyptic survivalists.
Yeah.
Someone who's ready to basically sort anything out in any kind of situation. Like, oh, this is how to shoot a gun, this is how to kill an animal, this is how to survive. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm fine with that. That makes sense. It's a nice bookend to Laurie Strode's character. And he goes some pretty cool places in the third act.
Yeah.
Which, spoilers now. Which gets pretty interesting in the third act when Laurie Strode basically starts to stalk Michael Myers. I basically think with this film, they had two great ideas. They had a great idea of Laurie Strode's gone crazy. I'm going to deal with her after the events of original Halloween. And we've got this great idea for a third act where Laurie Strode and the next two generations of basically her family are going to defeat Michael Myers once and for all.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how we're going to save this franchise. The problem then is how you fill up the rest of the time, which is where some of the film's problems kind of come from, I think. There is literally one character in the film who is designed just to get a character from point A to point B.
Oh, you mean the poor man's Oliver Reed?
Yeah.
Have you seen how much that actor looks exactly?
Pleasance.
No, I mean that actor
him.
looks exactly like Oliver
okay.
Reed. Like if you get a picture of Oliver Reed in like The Devil's Up, he looks exactly like whoever this is. Like I don't know who this actor is.
He's
he's
just a guy.
He's playing the Donald Pleasance character, but he looked like the character. Like the guy looks like.
He's like a student to Dr. Loomis.
Yeah.
From the original, but like he is the Dr. Loomis of this film.
He's this film's Dr. Loomis, and he looks exactly like that guy I just mentioned from The Devils.
But then like
Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed, yeah. But then like in a terrible twist, it turns out that like he was maybe responsible for unleashing Michael Myers again, because basically Michael Myers has been like in this catatonic state for 40 years, where he's not talked to anybody, he's just not said a word. And this kind of crazy professor wants to see what Michael is like unleashed on a night, 40 years to the day since Michael Myers, and he's going to go fight Laurie Strode once again. And basically it's just designed to get Michael Myers and Laurie Strode's granddaughter from the town to where Laurie Strode is holed up.
Yeah.
Because cleverly, one of the things I like about this film is that it does make Michael Myers genuinely terrifying again.
Well, he's just a relentless killing machine who just does like things for no reason or purpose.
And he's also not out to get Laurie.
That's clever, yeah.
Yeah, which again is one of the slight contrivances of the plot, is it cleverly does it so Michael Myers isn't going after Laurie, but then we've got to set up an excuse of why Laurie has to fight Michael Myers in our epic third act, you know?
Yeah.
So thus this character who's just designed to get Michael Myers from point A to point B. It's pretty much the only reason why he's there.
It's pretty comical. So basically, there's a scene where like Dr. Loomis Jr. is driving around with a police chief. Police chief hits Michael Myers, about to shoot him in the head, and Dr. Loomis Jr. shoots him, and then like it's like, I wanted to feel what it's like to be Michael.
Oh yeah.
And I genuinely thought he was gonna put the mask on and like become the new man. Doesn't he? He does actually put the mask on at one point. Doesn't he? Like, it's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, that bit is pretty ridiculous. I also think that there's like an inherent contradiction between what the film is trying to say and what it's like doing. Like, it's supposed to be like about like the effects of trauma on like Laurie Strode from all this time gone, which is a really clever, good idea. Like, it's supposed to be about like how she has lived with this horrible thing that's happened, and about how it's sort of ruined her life. So like, her daughter's gone away from her, and she's had everything ripped away from her by
there's
her
that really
fear.
Great scene where it's her granddaughter's birthday party. Yeah. And then Laurie Strode just turns up uninvited and she starts crying and stuff, and she kind of gets angry, and it's really awkward. It's a really effective scene, I think. It's really good.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, what were you going to say?
But I feel like, there's all this interesting stuff in the first act about that. But then, it's like, oh, it's not actually ruined her life. She should have been this worried because it's out to get her all the time.
Yes. So basically, Laurie Strode was completely justified in raising her daughter in this really disturbing and not great environment. She was right.
Yeah, she was like to do that, and
I also think they could have done a bit more with the whole concept that Michael's not going after her.
Yeah,
like, she spent 40 years prepping for this night because she thinks Michael's going to come after her. And Michael's not.
Wouldn't a cleverer thing to do in this been that like her lust for revenge is what puts like the daughter and granddaughter in danger?
Yes.
Here's a good one. Like, you've got first act exactly how it is. Second act is like Laurie Strode hunting them down. Then like Michael kills her and then goes after the daughter and granddaughter.
Ah, yeah.
And then that's got like, it's this tragic thing where like the thing she was trying to prevent happens because of her.
Yeah.
And you also get like this bookend where like, if she'd have left it alone, it wouldn't have made any difference. Yeah. Like, that would have been quite, not to say like what would have been better, but that would have been better.
That would have been better.
Yeah. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is great in the film, though.
Oh, yeah. It's a real reminder of what a great actor she can be. Like, I can't think of anything else, really.
Christmas with the Cranks.
I'm not seeing that.
It's this terrible. It's like a Tim Allen comedy where it's a Tim Allen comedy where like they hate Christmas, so they decide to go on holiday when it's Christmas to like Hawaii or something. She's like Tim Allen's wife in it.
Okay.
And then for like bizarre reasons, like they can't go on holiday. It's a terrible film. Don't watch Christmas with the Cranks. Like,
okay.
But anyway, yeah. You know what else is pretty good, actually? The daughter who's played by the woman from Arrested Development.
Oh.
You didn't realise? Yeah, it's Kitty.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah. Say goodbye to these.
Kitty Sanchez, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, she's good. I think the granddaughter's pretty good as well.
Yeah?
She's a great little performer. It's all really strong cast, and I suppose for me the biggest kind of weak link is kind of the second act.
Yeah.
Where basically there's one scene which does what the whole second act does, basically. So there's one really, really great scene where to drive home at Michael Myers is the relentless, mindless, indiscriminate killer that he was from the first film. There's a great one take shot.
Oh, of him, that 10-minute kind of one.
Yeah, it's really good. Of him going house to house, just killing anybody. Anyone who stands in his way, he just kills. Or sometimes he just goes into a house and just kills someone, and the camera kind of follows him. So you're getting into the mindset of Michael, and it establishes that this guy is a force to be reckoned with. He is indiscriminate in terms of his kills. But then they keep driving that point home for the whole of the second act, where the kills just keep on getting more and more ridiculous. And it's like, all right, we got it. You've done this already, man. Like, we don't need to have, Laurie Strode's granddaughter's friend needs to be murdered as well. Like, we get it. And it's where some of the unfortunate humour comes from.
The great humour is what you mean.
Sure, yeah. Whatever you think.
Yeah, like the jokes in this are like unfortunate. Like
there's one of the joke that made me laugh, which I'm not sure if it was an intentional joke or not, but it's where the little kid that Laurie Strode's friend's looking after, and Michael Myers turns up and he says, "Fuck this!" He just runs away. Like, I don't know if that's meant to be like a funny line or he's like, "Fuck this! I'm getting out of here." Yeah, no.
He's got some charisma, that kid.
He does. He's actually really good, that kid, and I think David Gordon Green, he does a lot of like improv stuff on set.
Yeah.
So maybe they realised that the little kid was quite funny.
That's what you get from starting out making films like George Washington. Do you
like,
even know what George Washington is? It's like this really independent. Like, no one's probably seen it. It only made for like 10 grand. Like,
right.
It's on Criterion.
Oh, it was actually okay.
Yeah, it's been like. But anyway, he made a film called George Washington. Yeah.
Okay.
It's about a kid who has like a skull that's soft. So he.
Oh, so it's got nothing to do with George Washington.
No. He's like it's like about like a black kid in America whose like skull is really soft, and he like. I don't know anything about it other than his skill is. Anyway, it's besides the point.
Is soft.
Yeah, it's besides the point. It's a film he made, and now he's made Halloween.
Okay,
now there's this kid in it
who likes
quite
improv.
He likes improv. Yeah. And he didn't make the Suspiria remake.
No.
Which is a better film than this.
Yeah. But yeah. So like I don't know that little kid's funny, but then there's there's a terrible scene which I alluded to earlier where like some cops are just sat around and they're talking about sandwiches. Oh, I've got ham on mine. That sounds disgusting, and he goes on and on and on, and it's not very good. Oh, excuse me. It's not very good. It just feels out of place.
Yeah, like, well, you don't need humour in a Halloween film, really.
No.
Like,
I'd keep the little kid.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Because he was pretty good. He was pretty funny. Like, I'd keep him, and that's enough.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need these stupid kids. But I think ultimately the point with Halloween 2018 is that it's effective. This director gets how to structure a film.
He's made a real film, guys.
He's made a real film with 3 acts. A good character arc for the main character, some really effective scenes, some good chills, some spooky moments.
Yeah.
some humour for the audience to send them out on.
Great soundtrack by John Carpenter himself.
Yeah, the soundtrack's amazing. Actually, it's really good. But yeah, and there's all sorts of kind of fun callbacks to the original, which I liked. There's a great scene where Laurie Strode's granddaughter reflected the original film when Laurie's in school and she stares outside into the car park and Michael Myers is there. Well, this time, the granddaughter's in school and she stares out and Laurie Strode's there.
Yeah, that's pretty clever.
That's pretty clever. I loved the scene when it echoes the original film, where at the end, the original film, Laurie defeats Michael. He lands on the ground after falling from the top floor of the house. And he's very one shot, then the next shot he's gone. That great sound effect.
Yeah.
They do that in this film as well, just with Laurie. So they do some quite fun things with that element. That
there is some cringeworthy bits though. Like there's a bit where she's talking to like the new Loomis, and she goes, "Oh, so you're the new Loomis."
Oh yeah.
That bit was like that was a groan. That
was a bit of a groan. Yeah.
There were a couple of bits where it were a little bit on the nose like that, but mainly, they kept it like visual references, stuff like that, where you didn't need to see the original; it would just work anyway.
It's effective.
Yeah,
I think that's the ultimate thing with film. It's effective at what it does, and like the audience I saw it with, I actually saw it on Halloween night.
Ooh.
Want to go see a spooky film on Halloween night? So I decided to go see Halloween.
Yeah,
and the audience was very respectful, which is shocking. Considering when I saw Hereditary on opening weekend, it was like a riot in the cinema.
Oh my! Well, Hereditary is a much more sedate film as well, which is better, this or Hereditary?
Hereditary.
Yeah, Hereditary's got that appalling ending though.
I know, but the first 2 hours is brilliant.
Okay, yeah.
I'd take the first 2 hours of Hereditary over Halloween 2018.
I feel like the ending of Hereditary is so bad it kind of like ruins the entire thing.
Really?
Well, it's so bad though, and it's what the film's like building up to, kind of thing.
I know,
Like. And it's like the ending kind of informs everything that's sort of gone ahead of it, kind of thing. Like, I feel like it's difficult to watch the first 2 hours now without thinking like, it's building up to that dreadful like climax. Like,
I think. See, I saw Hereditary twice.
Okay, yeah.
And that film's biggest problem is that, like, thematically, I'm completely fine with what happens at the ending.
Yeah.
I actually like the idea that, you think you're watching this dark, psychological family drama, but actually, as it turns out, it's actually you're in the middle of some weird, like, ritual to make this kid into the reincarnation of, I don't know, one of the sons of Satan or whatever it is. Like,
yeah.
it's pretty funky. Like, that could be fun, but it's just executed bad.
So yeah, it's just
the worst bit for me is the awkward jump cut where like the kid's in the attic, he sees his own, but he goes ah, and then the next shot like is him like falling out the window. It's like it's comical. It's just like
this is the thing that I think it's so bad it like just ruined the entire film for me.
Okay,
but yeah, I mean it's different strokes, different folks, or other way around even. But anyway, that's Hereditary. This is Halloween. It's a pretty good film.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
The second one will be terrible.
Ugh.
Without a doubt. Like, there's no way you can make a sequel to this that's anything other than just complete garbage.
I mean, in an ideal world, they should just, like...
It should be over now.
Just shut the book, close the book, end it. But no, they're going to make more, unfortunately.
I mean, they've confirmed now, haven't they? Because of how big it's been.
Yeah, they've confirmed, yeah.
I don't get what you can do. So basically, in the end of this, they kill Michael Myers in the sort of in where like Jamie Lee Curtis has been living has been converted into a sort of trap for him, and then they like just burn him up. Basically,
yeah.
I'm assuming he just survives that or something.
Well, they cleverly they don't actually have a shot of Michael Myers writhing in the fire.
Oh right, yeah.
So that's the get out of jail free card.
How are they gonna? There's no way you could escape that though, is there? Like, they'll think he's fire retardant now or something. Like,
yeah. Look forward to Halloween 2, and not the actual Halloween. Looking forward to Halloween 2, but it's not Halloween 2 from 1980 or Halloween 2 from 2007.
Is that the Rob Zombie film?
Yeah.
God, how can it, like, this is just a mess, isn't it, this franchise?
Yeah, as I said, in my opinion, it's the most vandalised of the, 80s slasher horror movies.
It's a shame and all, because Michael Myers, I think, like, well, he's not the most charismatic of the villains. That's probably the guy from Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yeah, Freddy, yeah.
I mean, he's better than fucking Jason, though, isn't he?
Jason's naff.
He's not. He's the worst one.
Jason is naff, I think, yeah.
But yeah, it's a decent. If it's still in cinemas, probably go see it. It's a pretty good film.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was enjoyable.
Second best horror remake on the market right now. But don't watch Christmas with the Cranks.
No.